Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a doubleheader of Nacho Tuesday today. Today I have Jonathan here with Munch AI. And without further ado, we'd love if you could introduce your company and what you guys do over there.
Hey, Andy. Hey, everyone. It's really great joining you this Tuesday. So we at Munch actually have kind of identified a very specific pain. I think that a lot of businesses, a lot of brands, media companies have around video marketing and creating video content that is effective and that can remain effective across multiple platforms. So what Munch does, in essence, is you provide us with any sort of long form video, and long is, let's say, 3 minutes and above. And we have our own kind of proprietary state-of-the-art AI and computer vision that analyzes everything that is happening and is being said in the video. And on the other side, we produce dozens of short clips, let's say between 20 to 45 seconds, based on the destination platform. Usually we're talking TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts. And we just provide you with the best, most captivating clips from that long video. And that can depend on topics that you're talking about, action that is happening. And we use thousands of data points to determine what is good and what is best. And it can be tone of voice, it can be objects, celebrities, brands that appear on screen. And what you get on the other side are videos that you can publish immediately, but you also can sort of anticipate what they will do, because we also provide you with a trending score, and we provide you with keywords that we're able to extract from the video and show you how those keywords behave over time, and so that you can anticipate what that particular clip will provide you, what that will do for your business.
Oh, very interesting. So webinars like this would be ideal for your platform.
Webinars like this will actually, it will certainly be, it will certainly push, and kind of challenge our auto cropping mechanism, especially if we'll do like a very quick banter and it has to skip between speakers, but we actually do that. We do that pretty well.
Nice.
Webinar, and so I think you kind of, since you mentioned that, I think two very I guess really interesting and very common use cases that Munch serve and solves. One is people who just want to just break the ground, who've been told for about a decade that they need to be on social media, they need to do video, and video is king, and so on. But all they have is their phone and very basic to no editing skills, definitely not marketing research skills, and no resources in terms of outsourcing that. And so we solve that also in terms of just packaging the video, subtitles, cropping to the right aspect ratio. And the other one is exactly this type of situation where you, as a company, as an organization, produce media content, be it if you do a weekly webinar, or if you have courses that you've pre-recorded, or even if you're a studio that has original content and you want to chop that up, and repurposing is the name of the game in multi-platform, and everyone knows that content alone it doesn't really cut it on one screen size on one platform.
Yeah, definitely need a more holistic strategy there. It's relatively easy enough to do if you're just sizing the videos correctly. But I guess AI has been such a big buzzword. Obviously, a lot of people are like, does it really work, right? I've actually tried your platform, and I could happy to say that it does work. It's pretty interesting to see there. But I guess, aside from using your guys' platform for video marketing, how do you see marketers using AI as part of their marketing strategy today? Including video, but besides that as well.
So I think we're living through a very interesting time, and I think I guess between the two of us, this is, I guess, maybe the third or fourth revolution that we've lived through as marketers. I mean, I'm not going to age myself, but I kind of broke into the industry around when social media marketing became a thing and became a job title.
Yep.
So certainly, I think the state of AI as it is for marketers, it's almost like marketers are the main driving force actually, and are outsourcing a lot of let's call it manual labor, things that were just time and labor intensive, for no specific reason. It can be brainstorming, it can be creating content in bulk, it can be generating images, and could be generating videos. Obviously, there appears to be a ceiling to how effective that can actually be, and I think we've bumped against that ceiling quite a few times. Everyone kind of realized that they've reached the limit of the particular AI product or technology that they were using. But I think, and especially in the case of Munch, and I think this is what kind of drew me to Munch in the first place, and it was middle of the AI boom, so almost a year ago, is that while around that time, when GPT became commonplace and a household name, again, I don't think anyone in OpenAI anticipated. It was like, oh, whatever, just like put the placeholder name. We'll figure out branding later.
Yeah, exactly.
But a lot of products were kind of were people slapping a wig and makeup on ChatGPT and calling it a product.
Totally.
And something like Munch, and the process of what we do and our end product is enabled through careful application of Gen AI.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the bigger conversation, or the conversation that I am a lot more interested in having, is what does AI provide us as, let's call it, as an operating system,
Mm-hmm.
As a layer that functions underneath functionalities that we know,
yep,
and that we are familiar with, and that were done by people, and those people might have spent too much time on those particular tasks, and they were maybe not cost effective to those people. I mean, I can say, and we've had it kind of read back to us, that we are very, very popular among editors. So professional editors, they were kind of reluctant to do those content repurposing gigs,
yep,
as part of the team that they were on, or whatever, as part of a studio that they're employed in. And if this is something that they can now outsource, and this is something that kind of frees them up, whilst not really compromising on how much they're charging them. So kind of this is, I guess this, this is, I hope, where we're headed, where people can see this technology and all its applications as just means to free themselves up.
It's a total product.
Creative.
Yep, it's a total productivity tool, right? It's like following the principle. You could do 80% of it with 20% of the effort, or even less with AI. And then, it's nice to have a human in the loop to kind of fine tune it and make it, make everything great at the end of it, obviously. But yeah, it just definitely gives people the lift that they need to get more done faster.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot, and kind of ironically, I think our most popular features that we've released in the past 6 months were features that kind of bypass the AI and bring back the human touch. So we've had automatic cropping, and everyone who's tried a product like ours know that it has a fair amount of accuracy, but it is never perfect.
Yep.
And if we've watched these auto cropped clips on TikTok or on Instagram, we've kind of resigned to having these results. So one of the things that we've realized pretty early on that we needed to do is introduce manual cropping back into the process. For example, we crop a certain section of the video, and very soon we realized that we needed to add buffers, and then we needed to add larger buffers, and then we needed to have people give users the option to extend those buffers even more. So kind of just like, so as you said, the initial process of just like, take this long video that, for example, this conversation that we're having, very, very little production skills are required, or creation skills are required to have this conversation, but this conversation can and should live on as social media marketing materials. And so if we get, if we have a Munch that will chop this up and will crop this neatly into a 9:16 format and add subtitles, and from that point on, we need to invest another 15-30 minutes to really make it perfect. That's fine. That's still better. Yeah, it's still better than the entire day that would have taken 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's incredible to see, and especially with the manual cropping too, right? So the AI is really good at picking out points of interest, maybe in the video, but then the human might say, actually, I want to start this clip, when he has this point as opposed to this other answer that he has. But it just, the time, instead of going through the full 30 minutes trying to find that exact point, it'll just kind of highlight the point for you, so you can look at it and say, this is an interesting topic of conversation. And I know I might need to fine tune it a little bit, but at least I'm looking in the right area here.
Exactly.
Very nice. And I guess, what other tips, going back to video marketing in general, so what tips would you offer for marketers to create videos that convert?
First, the first tip would be to create videos. I think it sounds silly and rehearsed, but I think that one of the main things that I hope that we're solving, or that I hope that, like, let's say our category solves by existing, is to really just help people go beyond the barrier of should I. So, of course, like, question number one, should you? Yes, you should. And yes, your phone is enough. And I mean, I for one, between our own user base and kind of like the influencer marketing, the creator marketing at large, that I'm well beyond neck deep in. I think this is the type of content that everyone favors nowadays. I think production value, the way that we use to perceive it. And so this is kind of the market spoke. So your phone is enough. You just need, and I think this is one thing that I've learned from a lot of people that we partnered with, who are at the top of their game and are making a living coaching small businesses. Their key message is always consistency. It's and they always they take kind of jabs at marketers who are like, okay, well, I'm 4 days into posting every day and I'm not getting any more followers. I'm thinking I'm going to quit.
It takes a while.
Yeah, it's like it's the it's the sourdough test. Like, if you're not gonna if you're not gonna do this every day, then throw the sourdough in the
the grass grows where you water it. You know what I mean? So don't expect it to grow overnight. But if you plant enough seeds and you water it, it's gonna get more. Same with video content. I agree with you on the context where, if people are going to say, listen to us today and, follow our YouTube channel and check out some of the videos that we're making, if they like one interview and they, assume from the way that we promote it that there's other videos like it where they could learn from experts in the field, in this case, video marketing and AI, they'll want to tune in to learn more. Right. And that creates momentum behind the series, NachoTuesday, I guess, if you will. And for other marketers out there, whatever you're marketing, right, like keeping that consistency is definitely key.
Yep. And consistency in terms of content. I think specifically consistency in terms of just doing it, of showing up every day and publishing something. And I think this is something, and I'm going to plug the product right back in. And I think this has been something that we've almost, was almost kind of lacking from our, kind of our marketing messages sheet until it was read back to us by a creator that we were working with. It was like, hey guys, you know how everyone is saying, feed the algorithm, give the algorithm what it wants, do this every day, maybe more than once a day. And what we essentially provide is like, you can, and we can take this webinar as an example, or we can also take just someone opening their forward-facing camera and talking for 20 minutes about something. And I've done that as an exercise. It was horrible. It was like, but I've done it because I wanted to get into the head of who we're pitching this product for. And suddenly I realized that, I was talking and I was just rambling to my camera for 12 minutes. And then I fed it to Munch. And then I had like 2 weeks worth of content instantly. So if I was actually selling something, or if I was actually trying to become a thought leader through constantly and consistently publishing content in my domain, then this would have been a game changer. If I now had to upload my video into another software, opening a timeline, hoping that whatever transcription mechanism actually worked, clipping it to where I wanted, downloading it, sending it to my phone, upload, like there's just no need for all those backs and forths.
That's kept a lot of it. I agree. It's the perception of how much time and energy you have to put into it. And a lot of people, I like to always use the saying, perfect is the enemy of good, right? Like I mentioned earlier, just getting the content out there, and then you can fine tune it over time. But just keeping consistent content coming out. But a lot of marketers, or want to be thought leaders, if you will, have looked at the commitment to that, and they said, "Nah, I don't have enough time to shoot these videos on a regular basis." But now the tools are out there to allow for anybody to be able to really do this, which is kind of what you guys do.
Yep, absolutely.
So now you just have to do these 30-minute interviews, and we have a lot of great content coming out of this already. So
I'm gonna need the link for this later, because like this is going into our into our use cases library for sure.
Yep, exactly. So I guess what else do marketers get wrong about creating videos and video marketing in general?
I think what people are getting wrong, and I don't think that there's a wrong if you're doing it. Like if you're doing it consistently, like anything. I mean, because I kind of, people always say like the internet never forgets, but I feel that for 99% of internet users, and even 99% of people who create or aspire to create content, the internet is an etch a sketch. So the long tail is painfully long, and it's not a 20/80 game. It's maybe like a 0.5%, 99.5% game in terms of exposure, in terms of memorability, which, is good and bad. It's bad because you want to be seen. It's good, which means that you can experiment for a year and no one will notice, or very few people will notice. And so like that's kind of going back to just being consistent. Actually, I have like this. It's actually no. I'll answer your question, and then I have another anecdote in support of that.
I'm all ears.
So I think what video marketers might be doing wrong, if wrong is the right term to use here, is I think people want to be told stories. Like they want to be enriched. They want to feel as though the time they have spent scrolling on their favorite social media hasn't been wasted. And so this always goes back to thought leadership or to added value. Even if you are drop shipping sneakers, or if you're selling your neighbor's scented candles, like you can sell it, or you can use video as a platform for just selling, for like, here's the product, here's the link. You know, they did it in the 1950s. I think we moved on since then, but I think a lot of people still kind of feel as though this is the only way. Like, if you didn't show the product, set the price, and pointed at the link, then you didn't really do a good job. And that is because the way people see it is like, I will only make the one video.
Yep.
So I think if you add the consistency element to it, in which, like, you don't think in the one video, but you think in the 100 videos.
Yep.
Then you can say, okay, I'm drop shipping sneakers because whatever, it's an easy way to make a little bit of money when you're 17. Good for you. I wish that was around when I was 17.
Yeah.
But like, surely you have, like, you know, if you're doing this at 17, then you have, you know, you can probably do, and there are more interesting things that you can say about the thing that you do.
Yeah.
So whatever, like, you know, you don't need to show your sneakers, tell the price, and that's a 10-second video. I don't know. Give us a 3-minute intro into Michael Jordan. Like, there are kids born today that were, you know, the 20-year-olds that were born 5 years after Michael Jordan was, you know, quit. So,
yeah,
like, pull people into your realm, establish yourself as someone who has an authority and has, let's call it, permission to do the thing that you do, because you've invested a little bit more than, oh, you know, I had these things shipped off from wherever in the world, and now I'm going to sell it to you. Because, like, there are millions like you, identical clones. So the way you stand out is just by providing extra value, and providing extra value really isn't particularly hard these days.
People want to buy, they don't want to be sold, you know what I mean? So, like, the way of just trying to push sales on people, the best brands these days really just kind of draw people in. And to your approach, thinking of like a long-term content marketing strategy, building a community around that, and then drawing people in, it's, you know, far more effective if you're playing the long game, which, you know, it's the way to go these days.
It takes stamina, and it takes resilience. And it's, you know, it's something that I think if anyone is ready to kind of plunge themselves into this game, and I am, like, I am talking to, like, the small business owners, you know, in the audience, because this is also, like, we're seeing that even without being very explicit in saying that we are a solution for small businesses who want to do this, and that. Small businesses, and I'm talking people in the kind of just like wellness, and wellness is a very broad term. So it's everything from yoga, meditation, nutrition, cosmetics, real estate, life coaches, anyone who's just like a speaker or a subject matter expert, plus a lot of agencies as well. Like, they flock to us because we have a solution that's kind of business ready. And they have a very, very well articulated need. Some of them are sitting on mountains of content. Some of them just need the push to flip that camera forward and press record, just, you know, because they know that there's an output for that. And so if you're going to go into the small business game, and if you want to find some moderate success, this is not an option for you. And so this is, you know, you kind of have to take this on. And I said, like, I experimented with trying to create content because I like the intention was to experiment. And I'm like, if I had to do that for a living, that would have taken a lot. Like, I would have had to shed a lot of, you know, a lot of just, you know, being self-conscious and having to look back at my video and playing them and listen to my voice, know that this is going to be part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, and look what you're doing now. I mean, you know, we're just doing a conversational interview here. It's kind of fun, actually, and
Yeah.
but we're pulling a lot of great information out of it, which is, you know, helpful to the end viewer and everything too, right? You know, we've mentioned your product obviously as a solution out there, but that's not a hard sell here. We're here to, you know, help, you know, educate people and provide, you know, great tips to grow their business. And it just so happens that there's great tools like Munch out there to help people get in the video marketing game. So, you know, just to your point, I mean, getting on here doing the interview today, we're already going to have a ton of content that comes out of this that's, you know, extremely helpful for people. And it's just us chit chatting for 30 minutes. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. So I think, yeah, a lot of SMBs could, you know, kind of find that angle, right? Like, what's your angle to create content? It could be, you know, a lot of people are getting into podcasting now. There's different video formats you could look at too. You know, there's not a one size fits all kind of strategy in that. So I guess, where do you see video marketing evolving over the next few years, considering not only just AI, but what's next?
Uh, I try to be very careful making predictions. Because I
Things
don't
move.
think, you know, I don't think anyone 2 years ago could have predicted kind of where we are right now in terms of technology. And I think, you know, Sora was kind of a watershed moment for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, everyone knew that this was coming, and this, you know, the ability to kind of cross this uncanny valley where you really can no longer determine whether something was made by a human being or made by AI. So yeah, you know, this is I guess, you know, some people are frightened by it. Some people are excited by it, by the opportunities that it presents. I genuinely think it's just like, you know, it's kind of a natural divide of people assuming the best in people or the worst in people. It's usually somewhere in the middle. I mean, the way I see it, like, I don't see video kind of dying down as and I think, you know, specifically with the rise of AI content, for example, let's say, like, and you know, we can play this back in a year and I can see how foolish I was. But for example, let's say, like, I'm not a huge advocate for AI avatars. I think a lot of people are using those, and they're using it kind of as a trope. I don't think anyone is using that and thinking that it can actually replace the value of human beings conversing to each other. I also think that people underestimate how intense the effect of uncanny valley is. We really have a very low tolerance for things we feel aren't made by human beings.
Yep, it lacks authenticity, and that's a good point. Yeah, so I second that.
And so, I mean, actually, like, if I'm trying to kind of now just like to feed off of what the platforms are hinting towards, and I mean, TikTok is doing an interesting approach and is kind of just like reverse engineering YouTube, and doing this weird full circle, like going back to kind of OG YouTube, where they're pushing for longer content and they're pushing for horizontal content again. And so, and they're, you know, obviously, like, they're not doing it because they just feel like doing it. They're doing it because data shows them that it is effective. I can personally attest that, like, I prefer longer content on TikTok. If I see a video that I don't even see the progress bar because it's below 20 seconds, I'm like, never mind. Like, no, give me someone, like, I want someone giving me a 7-minute linguistics lecture. Like, that's my jam. And
Not just
I
another
feel,
internet meme. Not just another internet meme.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think this is,
You like to go deep on the conversation or deep on whatever you're learning about.
Yeah, and I again, like, I don't know if I can, if I can extrapolate my own personal interests on the general public, but if I'm just looking at what the platforms are doing, and they are doing it, based on infinite heaps of user data. I guess I'm not the only one. Like, if TikTok is now pushing to raise the video length threshold to 30 minutes, that means that they have seen that beyond a certain point of video is probably less likely to be skipped, less likely to be scrolled, which means that for the topics that people care about, they want longer videos of. Does that mean that it will be like the death of short form? I don't think so. I think, if all we see all day as we scroll through TikTok are 25-minute lectures, we will probably get bored of that very, very quickly.
I think there's a place for both, right? I agree with you. Like, long form, if you want to go deep and you want to really learn a topic or really get into it. Short form's great for just snippy, just quick. Here's 5 things you can do to grow your business. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's very quick at getting ideas across and pulling that information. Especially for people that don't have a big attention span these days. They're in between emails or meetings. There's a place for that, right? But at night, I'm listening to like webinars. I'm watching TED Talks. I'm listening to that kind of stuff, right? When I know I have that dedicated half hour to really pay attention to it.
And I think we're kind of 15 years into, or 20 years into. So we kind of, Facebook just celebrated 20. So we're 20 years into social media. Okay, so like we're an entire generation, give or take, that is kids that were born into a world where social media is commonplace, and kind of, so I think behavioral patterns have kind of have been established, and ebbs and flows came in and out. So originally video content was this one thing, like this very specific guerrilla underground thing that's going on YouTube, and then production value just shot through the roof on YouTube, and you had people who were making millions of dollars from just being really, really big on YouTube, and that was when Mr. Beast was in kindergarten. If he was even around. And then YouTube kind of lost altitude, and then Instagram came in, and then Instagram did a whole bunch of innovation around creating video content. I remember like the first iteration of IGTV, which it was kind of a precursor to Reels, and no one expected that people would tolerate video content in portrait form. Yet here we are. We consume most of our video content this way. And we shoot video this way as well. And so I'm actually like I'm thinking that like the future of video marketing lies pretty heavily on the future of this device, or any device that will succeed it.
Maybe Apple Vision Pro. Just kidding.
Yeah, I think maybe 5 years into the future, Vision Pro is a consumer product.
Yeah, where you could shoot stuff. You could go from VR, like augmented reality, to VR to
Yeah, I've.
Oh, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, there you are.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I was about to say, I for one am not dismissing it as a as kind of as a flop for Apple. I think Apple usually don't tend to launch products, especially not hardware.
Yeah, it looks really. I think it's performing pretty well. Like it actually makes the whole VR thing seem kind of feasible, which for better or for worse. If people are addicted to their phones, I can only imagine what VR could be like.
I mean, so long as it's as it's kind of a 2-pound gizmo on your head that makes you look like the people who use it as they're walking down the street,
Yeah.
then maybe not. But as it will shrink, and like, I don't know if you ever get your hands on like the first iPhone,
Mhm.
that does not look anything like something that anyone would want.
Yeah. Yeah, especially today. Yeah, design's always evolving, correct?
Mhm.
Well, that's great. So I guess what's next for Munch?
So we're really really hard at work. So we've kind of raised our seed round about 6 months ago, in a time where
Mhm.
venture capital
Congrats.
isn't tossed around lightly.
Mhm.
We and we're actually, like, we're pretty thankful for that, because I think to raise um, capital nowadays means that you're like that there's real belief in you, by the venture capital people. So like they actually see your company growing somewhere, and it's not just like this cool thing that someone feels like throwing money on,
Yeah.
like they did in 2021.
Yeah.
um, and um, so we're building the product that content professionals will use,
Yeah.
To use video marketing for whatever purpose they require. So again, it can be the one person shop, the small agency looking to offer like basic rudimentary video editing solutions. Um, it can be the media department at a larger company. It can be a creator, and it can be a broadcasting company. And we're like we have exemplar clients from all of these
Mhm.
sectors. So yeah, we have as small as they come, and we have as big as they come. I can't name any
Speaks a lot.
specific names, unfortunately, but they are very, very big.
Yeah, it speaks a lot to the quality of your product. I've tried it myself, like I mentioned before, earlier in this interview. But yeah, I mean, Munch is, like we tried it out. It's really interesting tool. Actually, works really well. So I think we're a little over today because we love, I love these kind of conversations to kind of geek out about it myself. And I think a lot of great tips came out of this interview today. But a lot of SMB owners and people trying to get into the video marketing space could really pull some great tips from and apply those to their business strategy. So Jonathan, I really appreciate you coming on today. And for anybody that's serious about upping their video marketing game, and if you've been putting it off for a long time, this is your opportunity to start doing it, because it just takes consistency, like Jonathan mentioned. You just got to start making the videos and build your brand and just get that story building. Um,
Yeah,
and
just
Munch gives you
getting over that cringe hump. Just like get used to seeing yourself on repeat, but results will come. And we've seen it, and we've had those success stories being told back to us. So yeah, thanks Andy for having me. And again, if this is something that you're serious in taking on this year, go to getmunch.com and you can start your free trial. Um, and yeah, that's it for me.
awesome. Thanks again, Jonathan, and appreciate everybody joining today and or watching this later once we grab all these great social media clips out of here using Munch. Check it out today. And once again, thanks for being a partner with NachoNacho, the B2B SaaS marketplace. And we look forward to growing our businesses together, Jonathan.
Yes, same
All
here.
right.